But we start this hour with the Russia-Ukraine conflict, and US President Donald Trump will meet Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska on August the 15th, aiming to broker an end to the war in Ukraine. Trump announced the summit on social media, calling it highly anticipated. It will be their first face-to-face meeting since Trump's return to the White House in January. The talks come as Trump says a ceasefire deal is close, one that could involve Ukraine giving up significant territory. Kremlin aide Yuri Ushakov says discussions will focus on a long-term peaceful resolution, but warns the process will be challenging. Meanwhile, Trump says Ukraine and Russia a peace deal will involve territorial land swaps. Let's listen in to what the president had to say.
Meeting very shortly with President Putin. It would have been sooner, but I guess there's security arrangements that unfortunately people have to make. Otherwise, I'd do it much quicker. He would too. He'd like to meet as soon as possible. I agree with it. But we'll be announcing that very shortly, okay? And location. You know, a lot of Russians have died. A lot of Ukrainians have died. So we're looking at that, but we're actually looking to get some back and some swapping. It's complicated. It's actually nothing easy. It's very complicated, but we're going to get some back. We're going to get some switched. There'll be some swapping of territories to the betterment of both. And but we'll be talking about that either later or tomorrow or whatever.
Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says the Ukraine ceasefire depends on the right pressure on Russia. Let's now listen to the Ukrainian president.
Активну нашу переговорну роботу з партнерами, щоб була спільна позиція заради надійного миру для України. Дійсно реального миру, якщо всі однаково будуть сприймати можливості та загрози, тоді вдасться досягти саме сталого миру. Вже багато підтримки, це підтримка в нових умовах, коли озвучений дедлайн для Росії для припинення вогню.
While joining us to discuss this significant announcement of a date that has now been confirmed for this meeting between Russian President Vladimir Putin and US President Donald Trump is retired Major General Sudhakar Ji, a senior geopolitical and strategic defence expert who's joining us live from New Delhi. Thank you for joining us, Major General. Significant because this meeting has now been announced. Trump saying that there is momentum towards a ceasefire deal, but we have been here before. Do you think this truly is now a turning point towards peace in the Russia-Ukraine conflict?
Good morning, Joshua. Thank you for getting me to your show. Right at the outset, I must tell you that your voice is breaking, but I can still make the sense of the question that you're asking. This is a very significant, long-awaited visit or meeting which has been planned, and we hope and pray that this fructifies as it has been indicated through your channel and other news channels as well. Because it's about time this mindless conflict must come to an end. So having said that, all I would say at this juncture is that it's a very difficult proposition. Trump has already indicated that the land occupied by Russia has to be foregone or it is to be given away. These are all difficult questions when it actually brings in the factor of sovereignty and territorial integrity of a nation. And we hope that something meaningful and substantive comes about into realism. For that, my strong recommendation through your channel and through you is best way to stop a conflict which has been raging for past 4 years is to stop it wherever one is. That is, as is, where is. Just simply freeze. Bring some kind of a stoppage to the ongoing conflict for some days. And thereafter, the formal ceasefire can commence. Back to you.
Yes, absolutely. I hope that the signal issues improve, Major General. I'll keep this question short. What does it take for Donald Trump to push Putin towards a ceasefire?
My take on the whole issue is that the real problem of the Russia invading into Ukraine has to be understood. Why did Russia invade into Ukraine? you have to look back in time, what happened from 2014 and before that. The real aggression, expansion, and insecurities have been shown and demonstrated by none other than NATO forces. And take your mind back to James Baker, who went on a personal meeting with Mikhail Gorbachev on 9th of February 1990. And he went to the extent of assuring Mikhail Gorbachev to mitigate his apprehension that not an inch will the sphere of influence of NATO will expand to the east of the East Germany, not only East Germany, entire frontier of Europe. Contrary to that, at that point in time, while the founding members were 12, it had gone up to 16 in 90 and 91, and now you have 32 members in NATO. So where does the rationale and logic and the fundamental factor of trust lie? Therefore, what I'm saying is the beginning would be, meaningful and effective beginning would be that Donald Trump makes a commitment, no hardware, no military guns, satellites, or any kind of weapon system or ammunition will be provided, no funding will be given to Ukraine, one. No European country or the NATO member should provide any kind of support, military support I'm talking of. That is the clear indication to Russia, and so that Russia has not been the aggressor. Russia has actually been triggered. It has been forced to, compelled to take some action to defend itself. So when I ask that question, what happened? Why did Russia invade Ukraine? You need to actually study the details and come to a conclusion that the Russian origin people, they were denied the basic means of communication in their own language. They were actually subjected to mayhem and I would say subjudicial killing by the people. So somebody had to come to their rescue. So that's all I have for the time being. Back to you, please, if you have any other question.
Yes, Major General, thank you very much for your time on that topic. We will, of course, continue